when it comes to our work, just our day-to-day work, our school work, or whatever it is that we're doing, I'll tell you this, that intensity is more important than the number of hours put in. Throughout all my periods of school and things like that, there would be that certain bit of the population who would try to compare and see who spent the most hours studying, as if that was the metric by which a good work ethic was judged. And I'd argue that it's only a small piece of the equation, and in fact it's really outdated and old school type of thinking. It's industrial age factory thinking, where a person's productivity wasn't a little bit, or even more than a little bit, probably mostly determined by how many hours they were able to put in and how well they were able to maintain a sense of work endurance throughout those hours. But now in the modern day, we don't have that scenario anymore. We have a time where people can condense their efforts, and if they'll concentrate, they can complete in 4 hours the amount of work that many people complete in 40 hours. So many jobs are just filler jobs to give people something to do, but really the company or whatever it is that they're working for would be completely fine without them. The question is, are you using enough intensity? Because if you are, you can actually reduce the amount of time you spend working. I think the same thing applies to your physical training. If the physical training is intense, then it cannot be long. It can't be long in duration if it is intense. And I think some of our other work can be very similar. It is harder to work longer if you are using more intensity. It is harder to maintain a sprint effort than it is to maintain a jog effort. People maintain a jog effort for marathon type of distances, but your sprint effort will naturally fade over time. We all know that. That's one of those basic observations. The fact of the matter is that top level efforts can't be sustained for a long period of time. But if we learn to use them, they'll make us way more productive than the people around them. So this is just a tool for your mindset. What you need to remember is that intensity is more important than the number of hours worked. Your intensity is far more important. There were times in school where people around me were studying hours upon hours a day, and I started out studying that much as well. Started out with maybe a really heavy week or a 60-hour study week, but then I realized that I was just doing that to fit in. I was using a jogger's mentality, a jogger effort, instead of a sprinter's effort. And eventually, with the application of good study techniques and really intense study techniques, I was able to cut that down to about 2 hours a day. You get the same outcomes. That's the type of thing we're looking for. We're looking for in what areas of our lives can we put in an intense effort, a concentrated effort, so that we can reduce the amount of time that we have to spend actually working by 75%. So then if you want to, you can go right back in and find something new to work on. But if not, you've already met your quota of work. So the question is, how do you find scenarios that will allow you to do that? How do you find work environments that allow you to do that? And that is difficult. That is the question. And that's something you'll have to figure out for yourself, because it's very difficult to figure out. But if you can do that, and if you can hold the idea that your intensity is going to be more important than how many hours you're putting in or just looking busy, you're going to be far better off. So try in your day-to-day life to just crank up your intensity. Work harder, not longer. I know I talked the other day about hard work is overrated, but in this instance, what I'm saying is that if you do put some concentrated effort in, you can reduce the time you spend. And time, that most valuable asset, it's going to be what you want to have more of as your days go on.